Saints versus Broncos Thursday night football. Sean Payton's return to New Orleans. Broncos are 3-3. Saints are 2-4. You can make the case this is a must-win game for both teams, but it most certainly is for the New Orleans Saints. But real quick, if you want a way to support the channel, get access to film breakdowns if that's your thing, or scouting profiles when it comes draft season, Q&As, things of that nature, consider becoming a Patreon member. I'll have the link in the description and also in the comments. I would greatly appreciate the support. So let's talk about this game versus the Broncos, man. Thursday night. Look, the Saints, again, have lost 4 in a row. They started 2-0, and now they have lost 4 in a row. 2 of those losses being to divisional opponents. That's the kicker, right? And if you lose this game Thursday night against Sean Payton, making his return to New Orleans and a rookie quarterback, and you go to 2-5, I mean, the season is essentially over at that point, right? Like, you can't go 2-5 and just that would be incredibly hard to bounce back from. And let's be honest, the Saints right now, dealing with the injuries and the coaching staff that they have, they don't got the folks to get it done, right, to bounce back from something like that. So if the Saints want to still make something out of this season, they absolutely have to beat the Denver Broncos on Thursday night. And I think, despite the laundry list of injuries that the Saints are dealing with, I think this is a winnable game. I really do, just considering who you're up against, right? Broncos actually have a pretty good defense, but their offense is pretty abysmal, right? Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, Sean Payton still running his offense, kind of outdated at this point, right? But, hey, that's who he is, right? We all know he's stubborn. And real quick, does anybody actually care about Sean Payton returning to New Orleans? I know they're trying to make it a big deal. Like, I seen they put Sean Payton and I can't remember who they put as. I think it was like Sean Payton as the Broncos player or person, and then they put Cam Jordan like in the little preview matchup picture thing. Really, I've never seen them put a coach and a player, like put a Broncos player and a Saints player. But nonetheless, I think everybody, all the Saints fans right now, are just worrying about their team because we suck, right? Like, we got bigger fish to fry than Sean Payton coming back to New Orleans. Like, who cares if he gets booed or cheered? But I'm getting off track. So, yeah, it's a must-win game. Broncos are 3-3. You could say this is a must-win game for them as well, right? They're playing in a division with the Chiefs, who are 5-0. So you pretty much winning the division is pretty much out of the picture for them, right? So the only chance they have at the playoffs will be a wild card spot. So they got to win as many games as they possibly can. And again, they play in a conference with the Ravens, Chiefs, all that. So must-win games for both teams, right? But I want to focus a little bit on the numbers here. So the Broncos are actually 2.5-point favorites against the New Orleans Saints. And I know it has to do with all of the injuries that the Saints are dealing with, right? And their starting quarterback, right, is out. It'll be Spencer Rattler again. So 2.5-point favorites, the Broncos are. And I think right now, what do we know about Sean Payton? He likes to attack the weakness of the defense that he is playing. And what's the main weakness right now in the Saints defense? It's the run defense, right? They cannot stop the run and they can't tackle. Sean Payton is going to try to run the ball over and over and over and over and over and over and over, right? The Saints right now are allowing 5.2 rush yards per attempt. That is abysmal. In fact, that is number 30 in the league right now. And I'm pretty sure if you go by just the last couple weeks, they will be dead last. Okay, now the Denver offense, rushing offense, not the greatest in the world. I think they're ranked 18th. Yeah, they're ranked 18th, averaging 4.3 yards per attempt. That's not great, right? But you don't exactly need to have Walter Payton to run all over the Saints defense right now. So Sean Payton is going to try to run all over the Saints run defense because it is absolutely atrocious right now. And the Saints, what do we know? What are they going to try to do? They're also going to try to run the ball. But the problem is they can't do that. Outside of the first 2 weeks, they cannot run the ball right now. Really, they just don't have the guys up front. I mean, there's just no movement whatsoever in the run game, from McGovern, Landon Young, Nick Saldiveri. There's just no movement, right? They just don't have the bodies up front to get any kind of movement in the run game. They're only averaging 3.7 yards per attempt in their last 3 games. That is again, bottom of the league, bad. But the good news is, and where the Saints have a good chance of staying in this game or winning this game, is they have Bo Nix. And Bo Nix right now in that offense is not good. He throws a lot of checkdowns, similar to like he did in college, right? So if I was to guess what the Saints' game plan going into this thing is, I think they are going to load the crap out of the box. They're going to put as many players in the box as they can. They're going to play man coverage behind it probably, and they're going to try and force Bo Nix to beat them with his arm, right? And, it would not surprise me if somehow he turned into Drew Brees for this game, because that's kind of how things go for the Saints, right? So I think the Saints are going to load the box, force Bo Nix to throw it, and, take away that run game at least as much as they possibly can, right? There's only so much you can do when you get blown off the ball, but, we'll see. But on the Saints offensive side of things, like, the injuries are just absurd. Like, there's injuries on defense too, but the injuries on offense are just ridiculous. I see Nick Underhill put this out the other day. He said, what's left from the week 1 depth chart? So Chris Olave out, Lucas Patrick out, Eric McCoy out, Cesar Ruiz out, Taysom Hill out, Rashid Shaheed out, Derek Carr out, and then Alvin Kamara is extremely banged up and is just playing through it in a contract year, which, I literally cannot say enough good things about Alvin Kamara. So the only out of the starting 11 from the week 1 depth chart that will be out there on Thursday night is Talise Fuaga, the left tackle, Trevor Penning, Foster Moreau, and then Alvin Kamara. That is it. 4 out of the 11 starters on offense. Every team deals with injuries, right? But are we sure every team deals with significant ones like this? I mean, this just seems like it's a year in, year out thing with the New Orleans Saints, and it's frustrating. It really is. But it'll be Rattler, right? It'll be Spencer Rattler again on a short week against a really good Broncos defense. I know their defensive tackle, Zach Allen, is ranked number 1 in pass rush win rate. Say that 3 times quick. So they have a really good interior player in Zach Allen. Really good defense overall, coached up over there by Vance Joseph. But again, we talked about it earlier. The Saints' interior offensive line, not very good, right? And to have it go against a guy who's ranked number 1 in pass rush win rate. Oh my God, I cannot say that. Pass rush win rate. And Zach Allen doesn't bode well, right? And then, when you do things to take care of him, what does that do? That leaves your tackles vulnerable. And we know right now, Trevor Penning, who has improved, by the way. Remember when we thought he was like the Saints' main problem? Trevor Penning? I miss those days. Take me back to those days, okay? But even though he has improved, right? Like when you slide the protection away from him and, force him those one-on-one blocks, it could get ugly. So not the most favorable matchup for the Saints interior offensive line against the Broncos defensive line, but you got to roll with what you got, right? Spencer Rattler, look, he's going to be throwing to Cedric Wilson and Mason Tipton. Like, it's just not fair, man. Like, it's hard to get a real evaluation on the guy when this is who he's forced to throw to again, because Olave's out with a concussion. Rashid Shaheed hurt his knee, So I guess you just got to kind of look beyond that and just see if he's making the right decisions, the right reads, going through his progressions right, what he looks like in the pocket. Does he look poised? Is he making accurate on-time throws? Is he playing on time within the offense? And I think for the most part, he, especially in the first half, he did last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the second half, Todd Bowles, like a light just flipped in his head and was like, wait a minute, we're playing a rookie quarterback. Let me just blitz him over and over and over and over and over again. And it worked, right? Which it would work against most rookie quarterbacks. And I've seen, a lot of people making their judgments off of Spencer Rattler off of his very first start ever. And it's like, dude, like, put things into perspective a little bit. This is this guy's first career NFL start. He's doing it in the middle of a season, and in a season in which he's been the third string all year, and he's throwing to guys that would not be getting the ball on any other team. So really just put things into perspective. Like, look at Caleb Williams' first couple starts. Jane Daniels didn't look good in his first couple starts this year. I mean, so, just take the thing, everything as a whole when you're evaluating Spencer Rattler here. Be fair is what I'm trying to say. Like, don't try to, you know, push your own quarterback agendas or whatever. Agenda, no pun intended. But again, let's get back on topic. Saints versus Broncos, must-win game. If the Saints lose and go 2-5, hopefully they fire Dennis Allen. They won't do it mid-season though, because the Saints have this delusional thinking that they're some top-tier organization that just can't do things like that. And they think they want to run things as a family more so than a business. But when you do that, you get the product that they're putting out right now. Never mix business with family, because you just get a mess. And that's what the Saints got right now, with Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen at the helm and Gail Benson somewhere doing Lord knows what. So appreciate you guys watching. Peace.